guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a review for you guys about a product that has been much asked about and much talked about in recent times, which is the Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. So this is a product that right off the bat I have been wanting ever since I heard about it. And I really liked the fact that it had 9 shades, and I was thinking, you know, for the first time I'm going to get the shade that actually works for me, because even though I've tried out so many tinted moisturizers before, I've always had to get like a little bit of a darker shade because most tinted moisturizers don't come in as big a variety as the Nars one has finally come in. So I was really excited off the bat, and SPF 30 is obviously great. I use SPF 50 in my face every day, but I thought, okay, well, I can go down 20 and still survive with it, you know, starting to get into spring summer season. It's important to protect your face, especially for me since I'm getting laser hair removal. I have to wear sunblock all over my body and anywhere that I get laser. So that's especially important for me at this time. So just the basics. The packaging, I love it. I love Nars packaging in general. The matte finish is super chic looking, I think. I like the fact that this ring around it right here is transparent so you can kind of see the color inside. And I love that this range has 9 shades. Now, when I went in there to choose my shade, I immediately gravitated towards this one. I knew this was going to be my shade, and it ended up being true. The only problem here is that the shade before it, which is St. Mortiz, is way lighter. Probably I would say a good 5 shades lighter than me, and then it jumps to this one, which is like half a shade darker than my skin. So again, I did have to settle for something a tiny bit darker, but it's not as much darker as Laura Mercier or Youngblood tinted moisturizers that I have. And even, you guys know, even though CC tint, you know, isn't really my shade either, so this is probably the closest match that I've ever seen, which is great. This comes with a lot of product, 1.9 ounces, which is a lot. And, you know, with it being a tinted moisturizer, of course, you are supposed to apply it without putting on your normal moisturizer if you're using it for the purpose that it's being sold, which is just to be an easy on-the-go product. The way you're really supposed to use this, that Nars says, is that you're supposed to cleanse your face however you normally would, and then apply this as your moisturizer, and you can go ahead and leave. Now, all of you guys know that if you have dry skin, normal skin, that's the perfect product for you, but us oily skin girls need a little bit more help. So I tried out the product in the way that it's supposed to be used, which is to use this as my normal moisturizer. And I like that, but of course, being that I have oily skin, I did have to set it with powder. So I tried a few different techniques. I set it with a MAC beauty powder, or I guess this is the Studio Care blend in medium dark. This is the shade that it is. It looks a lot lighter than my skin, but it actually sets to my skin color, which is nice. So I tried this as the first method. It worked really well, but for oil control purposes, it wasn't amazing. Then I tried the MAC translucent powder. This was also great. I think this looked even more natural than something with powder, because then I wasn't altering the shade that this actually really is. This worked a little bit better, but again, not as amazing. I would have to touch up every 3 hours or so with this, because I didn't put on a ton of it. I didn't want it to look super powdered because I liked the glow that was coming from within my skin with the use of this by itself. So then I finally perfected the method of using this foundation, or I mean this tinted moisturizer, and that was with my Ben Nye banana powder. This has the best oil control properties out of all the powders that I tried out with this. I also like the fact that this is a little bit yellow. Now, I know a lot of you guys who are a little bit lighter than me, or even darker, have asked, like, is this going to change the shade of your foundation? It's interesting because when I used the Ben Nye banana powder in conjunction with my other foundations, I didn't find it changing the shade too much. Being that it's yellow, also, it's good for people with darker skin who don't want to use a translucent powder, because as we know, translucent powder ends up giving you a white cast generally. So when I put this on in conjunction with this, this is the face that I came up with. I think that it suits my skin color. Yes, it altered the shade a little bit because it is yellow and this is a little bit more pink based, but for me it works because this is more pink based and I like to look a little bit more yellow or neutral, and I feel like using a pink based foundation or tinted moisturizer and then balancing it out with a yellow based powder can give you that perfect neutral look. So that's what I went for with this. So as far as the consistency of this goes, it's interesting because it looks like a liquid when you dispense it onto your hand, but it's not as thick as a liquid. And I wouldn't say it's gel based either. I almost want to say it's water based because it looks so natural, kind of like the Face and Body foundations. It's not as thin as that, but the application when you put it on, it really soaks into your skin almost to where you can't tell that you actually put something on. You get like a little burst of color, but that's about it. What I also like is that I think that the coverage for this is a lot more than most other tinted moisturizers, even though it's much lighter, because let me compare this for you guys. So I have 4 tinted moisturizers that I've used in the past. This is a Youngblood one in the color Tan. This is Laura Mercier one in the color Tan. And this is my OCC tint in the color Tan. So what I'm going to do is dispense, and of course my Nars, but I'm going to dispense a little bit of each one into my hand. And I'm going to show you guys just what the consistency looks like. Alright, so here are my 4 shades. This looks kind of weird because I think the Youngblood one is like kind of done with now. But this one right here is my OCC tint right here. This is probably one of the thickest ones that I've found right now. The Moisture Tint by Youngblood, I'm not even going to count that because obviously like all the particles have come apart. This one is my Nars one right here. This, on first glance right now, when I put it on, the first thing I thought of was that it looks just like the Makeup Forever HD foundation consistency. And this is my Laura Mercier one. So the Laura Mercier one is also pretty similar to the Nars one in terms of texture, but it's thicker. And I'm going to show you because I'm rubbing this in right now. Okay, so here are the 3 rubbed in. This is my Laura Mercier one. You can see that's a little bit thicker because you can't really see my skin underneath it. This is the Nars one, a little bit more yellow based and a little bit lighter because you can see some skin under here. This is the OCC tint one right here, which is the lightest one I think out of all of them. So that's basically what it looks like when you rub it in a little bit. And here, these are my fingers. This is the OCC tint right here. This is the Nars. And this is Laura Mercier. So as you guys can tell, you can kind of see some of the thicknesses of all of them. And I think having tinted moisturizer, a big part of it is to have something that's thin and lightweight and malleable with your face. So that's what I like. I also think this is one of the few tinted moisturizers that has enough moisturizing qualities within its own formula to where you don't have to use another moisturizer before it. Because I know for dry skin people, sometimes you need more moisture, unlike us oily skin girls. So this one I think has the best of both worlds with that. And also, as it's drying, I'm kind of seeing how the Laura Mercier one became a lot darker, oxidized. The Youngblood one dried the fastest. Or not the Youngblood one, sorry. The OCC tint dried the fastest, but a little bit streaky. And the Nars one has retained the same color. Can you guys see that? Do you see how much darker that all of a sudden became? But when I first dispensed it, it didn't look that dark. That one has retained the same color, and that one has dried the fastest. So they say that this product has a naturally glowing finish. A lot of people have said that that's not true. For me, I do find it to be true. Again, it's because when I was first using this, I put this on right after I washed my face. So it did the work of a moisturizer with a little bit of color, and that's how I saw the glow come in. However, that method hasn't really worked for me. I've had to go back to using the tinted moisturizer as I would a foundation, which means I wash my face, I moisturize it with the Murad Skin Perfecting Lotion, and then I put on my normal primer, which is the Face Protection Visage SPF 50 right here. And then after I let that all soak in and dry, then I put this on. So for me, it hasn't cut back on the steps like I was hoping that it would, but at the same time, I like it because it gives me a poreless look. I can honestly say this makes my skin look so, so good. I hope this lighting is good for you guys to see it. I was trying really hard to make this work for you guys. But in real life, I know people have told me it looks so natural, it looks so pretty. And if you look at me, it doesn't really look like you're actually wearing any face makeup. It looks like, yeah, I've got powder on my face because my skin isn't this naturally matte. But at the same time, when my oil starts to break through a tiny bit, it looks much more natural and it looks beautiful and completely flawless. I really like that. Now, I've been watching videos and other people's reviews, and people put this on with a brush generally, but I would not suggest that method. I feel like that method uses a lot more product. And the brushes kind of soak up a lot of the product also. So I would suggest using your fingers, really rubbing this into your skin. And one thing that I will say is that when I first got this, I wasn't rubbing this in as much, and it looked a lot darker because I wasn't blending it into my skin as much. But when you really use this as you would a moisturizer, like really push it into your skin, you want to get the most out of your product. So then I noticed that it was really soaking into my skin, looking like my real skin color. Now, with these two products together, I get over a 12-hour wear, which is amazing without blotting my face even once. I put this to the test yesterday. I woke up really early. Sometimes I have to go to work really early, and I had to be at work at 6, and sometimes when that happens, I do my makeup there. So I put this moisturizer on at about like 8 o'clock or so, and I wore this until about 6 p.m. So that's 10 hours right there. And even then, there was no oil breakthrough. But then I went to the movies, and before that, I powdered a little bit just to make sure that nothing moves. And I was awake until 12 a.m. and like nothing had come, like no oil had seeped through my face, which was awesome, so I loved that. Now, when it comes to this color range, I would say this. I think that there's more opportunity for lighter shades. I think this is a better formula and better color range for darker skin, because I feel like the shade range from this color onto the very last one, you can find a match for you because it changes so little, and they've got like really good shades for darker skin. But for lighter skin, they've only got 3 shades because this is the 4th one, and there's a shade range of 9. So the first 3, I feel like they could probably do with adding a few more shades for lighter people and a few more matches between the color that's before this and this, because they're missing at least 5 shades in there. So I will say Nars missed out on that one because it was supposed to be the one formula that everybody can find their shade in, and I don't think that's completely true. So that was my problem with this. But I love the ease of application. I love the packaging of it. It's super easy. It's just a squeeze tube. So it's easy, it's clean, it's hygienic. I like the glow that it gives from within. I think that exists. But I will say for oily skin, you are going to have to set it with the powder, which is going to take away a little bit from the whole tinted moisturizer concept. But for dry and normal skin, it is perfect. I feel like this is one of the only tinted moisturizers that literally makes you look poreless. Overall, I think it's a great on-the-go product. It's the perfect product for you if you think that you're one of those people who can kind of look sort of caked on and you want a different thing. You want to make your face look malleable and real and skin-like. It's a great product. I really like the color of it. It's the closest match of any tinted moisturizer I've ever owned. And I like the fact that it really makes me look poreless and natural. It's a big compliment when people think that you're not wearing any makeup, even if you are, and they think that your skin looks beautiful. And I've been getting a lot of those compliments recently because I've been asking my coworkers, hey, what do you think about my skin today and today and today? And because I've been trying on like different methods of putting this on and just different products overall, and they've all really, really liked this one. So I think it goes a long way in terms of a tinted moisturizer. It's a powerful little product, and it was $42, so it is kind of expensive, but there's a ton of product in here.